when I went to, I look like a coach though. I look like I could be a coach. I just look like I'm the
We did. It's a thought. It's a thought. It's a good thought. Probably not good. That's true.
did it. I,
We are ready to begin with Utah State. We have student athletes Kobe McHugh and Sam Merrill. Coach Tim Duryea. Coach, if we can start with you, just get some thoughts on tonight's game.
Yeah, proud of our guys. Didn't get off to a great start. I thought Boise State was tremendous to start the game and was sharp as attack. And we kind of came to our senses. We weren't very good defensively. I thought offensively we did a lot of good things and got a lot of good shots. Sam hit a big three before half to kind of give us a little momentum going into the locker room, and then came out the second half, got a bucket first possession, and then it was just back and forth. But proud of our guys for hanging in there, staying together. And Boise State is tough. They are hard to guard and probably the most effective zone that we've seen this year. I thought the one area where we were as bad as I've seen us is in our press breaker. Usually we do a fairly good job handling the press, but boy, we were shaky tonight. So it's good to get past that one and not play your best and come away with the win. So proud of these guys.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take questions for the student athletes only, then we'll let them go, and we'll keep Coach a few more minutes after that. Questions for our student athletes?
Yeah, Sam, can you just talk about you had kind of a slow start yesterday, but you really turned it around today. What was the big difference for you?
Yeah, like you said, I didn't shoot the ball very well yesterday, but I'm confident in the work that I've put in, and I knew that I had to play better today for us to be able to win. And, I missed a few in and out in the first half, so fortunately they were able to fall in the second half and throughout the game, and we were able to get the win.
Over here. To your right, guys.
So, both Sam and Kobe, in both games, you guys have had big games. Sam, you had a big game tonight. Kobe, you had a big game in the last game. What's it like for you guys as sophomores to be playing such great basketball on such a big stage?
It's like Sam said, we put in a lot of work in the offseason, and, we trust the work that we put in, and it's showing in the tournament, and the best players got to play their best when it comes surviving events. So, I thought Sam did a tremendous job today, just scoring the ball and defending well. So, just going back to the work that we put in the offseason.
Over here.
Sam, can you talk a little bit about that stretch where you scored 10 straight points, and then later he hit that big three that really ended up being the game winner?
I didn't even know I scored 10 straight in a row, but Kobe does a great job of finding me when he feels like I'm making shots, and I try to do the same with him when he's hot, so we feed off each other well. And that last shot, I've taken that shot a million times, and made it quite a few times. So we hadn't run it yet all game, so I had a feeling it would be open, and came up and shot it confidently.
Back here.
Kobe, in the first half, you were 2 of 7. What did you need to do kind of just stay in your game in order to find a rhythm there late?
In the first half, I was getting good looks, and a lot of them were going in and out as well. It's surviving advance. I knew that, I had to keep shooting, I was getting good looks. The second half, some of the shots started to drop. I had to be a little bit more aggressive getting in the paint. Try to free up myself by getting guys open shots. Once they start hitting shots, the lane started to open up for me. I had to just stick with it, and, it worked out for us.
Go ahead.
A question for both student athletes. Sam, starting with you. You grow up watching this game. You dream about being a part of this stuff, and here you are as a sophomore, one of our local boys, doing it now for real. How exciting is this?
It's exciting, but it's only the quarterfinals. Like we just talked about as a team, this is an opportunity to move on to the semifinals, and you know, I didn't grow up wanting to win quarterfinal games. I grew up wanting to play in the tournament. So we're one step closer, and we got to bring it tomorrow.
Go ahead.
So Boise State starts that game just shooting lights out. You guys cut the deficit several times the second half, and then they extended back out to 8-10 points a couple times. How are you guys able to keep composure throughout all those times where it looked like Boise State might kind of run away with it?
It just started off with stops, one possession at a time. And once we did that, we kind of broke the game down. Get one stop, get a bucket, then get another stop, get a bucket. Once we broke the game down like that, the game started to slow down for us, and we slowly caught back up. And once we got the game in arm's length, we were really confident that we could win the game, and that's what we did.
Go ahead.
This is for Coach.
Let's do the student athletes first, and then we'll keep Coach.
What did Coach say to you guys about getting to the free throw line at halftime, because you hadn't been to the charity stripe at all in the first half, and you go to it 18 times in the second half?
We just had to continue to be aggressive. They fouled us on, 2 or 3 threes, maybe 2, but I don't think offensively there was any different level of aggression from half to half, but we were able to channel our aggression better and play smarter, and that's why we were able to shoot all those free throws.
Let's go over here.
So in both games, you guys have been down at the half and have outscored your opponents by double digits in the second half. What has it been about in this tournament where you've been able to outscore your opponents and outplay them in the second halves of these games?
In both games, we were getting good shots. They weren't just falling in the second half. They just happened to fall. But in both games, in the first half, we weren't defending. And once we got defensive confidence, our offense started to flow. We got in the paint, got easy buckets. Then the basket started opening up for us. Then we stepped out, made our threes. Got to the free throw line, and that's what we got to do to start the games. We got to start inside out. Like Coach says, you got to play accordion basketball. Go in and out. But that's what we did in both games in the second half, and we got to do that in the first half. And if we do that, we'll be in good shape.
Way to your left, guys.
Sam, that last 24 seconds, it was like 3 turnovers. I mean, that was kind of crazy. What was the range of emotions going on there?
Well, I was disappointed because I told the coaches that I wanted to take the ball out just to secure an inbounds, and then I go and turn it over. So that was frustrating, but yeah, we were able to get the ball back, and then they had the jump ball, and then Kobe hits a free throw, and our coaches did a really good job of keeping us calm and making sure that we knew that we had the lead, so all we had to do was buckle down and get a stop, and fortunately we were able to.
Kobe, you said best players need to play their best, but obviously that wasn't the case on the Boise side. Chandler looked like he was pretty uncomfortable out there, had a rough game. What did you guys do out there to kind of disrupt him a little bit?
We played his drive first. We knew that he wasn't a great three-point shooter. He could hit a couple. So we played to his weaknesses, try to force him to his left hand a little bit, and then when he got into the paint, we tried to crowd him a little bit. Just take away his space. And that's what made him uncomfortable. He had to finish over hands, make tough shots. If he made tough shots, we'll go back down and shake his hand. That's a good shot. But he had to finish over a hand. During the game, he didn't really make a lot of those baskets, and we had to defend him without fouling. And when we did that, we were successful.
Did you guys notice the Wyoming fans and the New Mexico fans up there cheering for you guys to beat Boise State at all? Did that kind of help push that along?
Yeah, we know why they were doing that, but they don't want to see us, so it's okay.
Anything else for our student athletes? Okay, I'll dismiss them at this time. Thank you, man. Questions for the coach now? Let's go over here to your right, Coach.
It's kind of the same question I asked Sam and Kobe. In both games, you guys have been down at the half. What has been the main difference between the first half and the second half so far in this tournament?
The only thing we usually talk about both sides of the ball before the game, at halftime. A couple of things on each side. we did not talk offense before the game, and we didn't talk offense at halftime. Question about what I told him to get to the free throw line. We did not discuss offense. We discussed defense or lack thereof in the first half and how that had to change, and a couple of adjustments on the defensive side that I thought helped us in the second half. And then, at this level, I think there's very few teams that not making shots doesn't affect your defense. Most teams, if you're not making shots or getting hard shots, if you're not scoring, period, it affects you on the other end. And I thought that happened a little bit in the first half. I thought we jumped out to a little bit better start in the second half, and that bled over to the defensive side of it. And, we just made a few more plays, and then we gave up some easy shots too. So I think we can play better defensively than we did. Obviously, they missed some shots in the second half that a lot of times they make. But this game for us was all about defense, a defensive mentality. We talked a lot about the first 6 seconds and the last 6 seconds of the shot clock. Transition defense against them is huge. If you don't get back, you have no chance to win. And then they are the best rebounding team in the league. So the last 6 seconds of the possession, you got to handle your business and get physical and block out, and we did just enough of that.
Tim, what was it like for you to live through those last 24 seconds?
I was in disbelief at how bad we were against the press. We just haven't been that bad, and it was, it's not like it was an all-out full-court press, but we were shooting ourselves in the foot right and left, and Sam came over in the last, and he's as dependable as they come, and he said, let me throw the ball in, and he plays that spot every now and then, so we made a switch, and he turned it over. But this is Sam Merrill for you. Look who got the steal after he turned it over. He's the same guy that made the defensive play that got us the ball back. That's Sam Merrill.
Let's go right here.
I had 2 questions. First of all, obviously there was a couple points of the game where you really needed Bucky, you really needed a kind of stabilizing force, and I think Julian Perry was that again. How big is it to have him back from injury just in time for the tournament coming into this form?
He has been a real shot in the arm for us, and we were talking as a staff the other day. If you look back really every year of his career, he has played really well. He shot the ball really well in this tournament his whole career. And, like we talked about yesterday, Julian's had a nightmare of his senior year because of injuries, and it is awesome to see him back. And, you always want your seniors to have a role, to be able to contribute, to go out on a high note. And I was afraid for Julian and Alex that may not happen this year, but towards the end of the year, they've been really key for us.
You mentioned Sam already a little bit, coming back to about the way he just kind of carried you guys at points when you needed points, and then hit that big 3 at the end too. He really hit some big baskets tonight.
Yeah, and Sam's a little deceiving with the ball. He's a little bit better driver of the ball, and he finishes around the rim, a little bit better than probably what most people think. He's not just a catch and shoot player. He has a good mid-range game. He can finish at the rim, and obviously he's deadly from 3. So, I thought he had really good looks in the first half, and like you said, we had some shots go in and out, but we had the big possession there at the end of the game, and there was no doubt, where we were going with the ball. We were going to put the ball in his hands and get a shot there on the play we run, or have him turn the corner and drive it and make a play.
Time for a couple more questions right here.
It was a really rough kind of ending to the regular season with a 4-game losing streak, and a lot of fans were kind of not expecting this kind of a run. But then you've beaten UNLV, you came back against Colorado State yesterday, and then obviously today the win over Boise State. Can you just speak a little bit on how proud you are of your players for being able to make that turnaround from the low point of 2 weeks ago to being able to go down to the semis for the first time in school history?
Yeah, we had a rough last couple weeks of the season for different reasons. And I could tell when I came in Monday after the UNLV game, where we had 2 days to prep for the tournament, that they were in a great frame of mind. You can feel the energy of your team. Are they done? Are they counting the days? Are they sick of each other? Or you know, is there another feeling in the room? And I just felt like they were not done. They wanted to play. I've said this a lot of times. They really, really like each other, and those two guys right there enjoy playing with each other a lot, and they have the utmost respect for each other. And you know, when you have leadership like that, and they're bought in, everybody else kind of follows along. And we had 2 great days before we came down here, and it's kind of showed up. So really proud of them, to answer your question.
Let's go last question back here.
Sam was saying that this isn't the end goal, quarterfinal win. There's more to be done. What's the mindset moving forward, especially with this being kind of uncharted territory?
Yeah, this is the farthest we've been in our 5 years in the league. In the tournament, it's been a grind for us. And we went into the locker room after the game, and basically we've got the days numbered. And the only thing we did, I mean, they were calm. We changed day 2 to day 3. And that's tomorrow, and that's the next step. And like Sam said, the goal for us here is to win the tournament. That's the only way, we get to where we want to go. And winning a quarterfinal game is great. It's a step in the process for us being a good team in this league, but it's not the end goal. So day 3 tomorrow.
Okay, thank you for your time, Coach.
Okay.
For Boise State, we have student athletes Alexis Williams, Justinian Jessup, Coach Leon Rice. Coach, if we can just start with you and get your thoughts on tonight's game.
I thought Utah State did a great job of weathering some storms, and we started out really good, and they just kind of hung with us, and we couldn't break away from them, and then they did a terrific job of making some big shots down the stretch.
Thank you, Coach. Let's take questions for the student athletes.
Alexis, you guys just had talked about this being a special group, and you just felt like this was going to do special things. To have it end this way, this early, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts don't change. We're still a special group, still headed to do special things. This isn't our last game, so, just trying to, swallow this tough pill. But, nothing changes about how special this group is. It'll always be that way.
What did kind of go wrong tonight?
We just didn't get stops down the stretch like we needed to. In the first half, our defense was really good, but in the second half, they were getting open looks and knocking them down like they were supposed to.
Alexis, I know you kind of are the voice of reason sometimes for your team. Was there a message that you shared with your Broncos after the game to kind of encourage them to keep their heads up?
Just let them know that we're not done playing. This one hurts, but, we still got a chance to compete in the tournament, and that's what we look forward to.
Justinian, what did you see from their threes and from Merrill in particular? Was it your defense? Were they just on fire? What did you kind of see for them to, make that percentage from 3?
Yeah, I think it was part of both. Part of our defense, I think we gave him some easy looks too much, and then others he was just hitting like that last one. I thought it was good contest, and then some others I thought were good contests too. So, credit to him. He made some tough shots.
Alexis, you were able to get inside and force the ball inside in the first half. I think you guys had 16 points in the paint in the first half. I don't know if that was there in the second half. Did you notice it was there? In terms of going inside, did they do something to take that away from you, or did you have to go look somewhere else?
A lot of my buckets in the first half were a lot in transition. I don't think that we ran enough in the second half. They hard hedge on ball screen, so it's tough when you're coming off a ball screen and the big man comes out and then you try to get downhill. So I think it was a credit to them for making shots. We didn't even really rebound that well in the second half, so we didn't get a chance to get out and run and make those transitions and buckets in the paint.
Is this kind of like hard for you guys to believe at this point? You're up, like you had the lead, and they keep hitting those shots, but you guys would push it back to 6. You had the lead. just kind of like the previous question, but with you guys, everything you guys thought this season was going to be, and even with this game, is it kind of hard to believe that they came back and got you at the end?
I mean, it's a tough pill to swallow. It's frustrating, but, credit to them. Like Coach Rice said, they weathered a lot of storms during the game, and they just kept coming back and kept coming back. They didn't lay down at all.
Lexus, I know you obviously think pretty highly of Chandler Hutchison, and he had a few looks there inside of a minute. And, I mean, he's obviously done a lot for this program, deserving of those shots. And have you? I mean, what you guys do? I don't know if you had a moment to talk with him after the game, but obviously some big shots and some tough misses.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him, but those are shots he's supposed to take, and a lot of those shots are shots that he makes. So tonight they just didn't go down. They're not going to go down every night, but just like I told him last time when we lost at Utah State, like you did everything you could do, and that's something that you have to live with. It was a good shot.
Anything else for our student athletes? Okay, we'll dismiss them at this time. Thank you, men.
Thanks, guys.
Questions for Coach Rice?
Coach, we talked about it yesterday, but just this team you thought had the makings to do some big things this year, and just to have it end like that with a barrage of threes from Utah State, and just to go down in the quarterfinals for the third year in a row. How tough was this one?
It was really tough because I thought we came out playing really good. Got a little foul trouble that we weathered, and we just couldn't shake them. They hung with us, and made it. We got a few big plays. We had a fast break to go up 10. We missed the lay-in. They go down and there was just plays like that all night that we just didn't make, that maybe could have put us over the top. And so yeah, it's a tough one for this locker room. They this, like I said, I got a special group that wanted to keep playing, and I thought we were going to, I really thought we were going to do some great things down here, and so it's a hard one to deal with.
Leon, obviously you've seen Chandler develop, tremendously since he has been at Boise State. What was it like to watch him inside of that final minute? Tough missed free throw, obviously, on the front end, and then had a couple chances after that too.
Right, and as a coach, you ride him for 30-something odd games, and he's won a lot of those for you, and so you feel like you got to, the team wanted to give him those chances, and it was right there. A couple of them just rolled in and out, and we made some tough defensive plays to get the ball back, get another chance, and just couldn't get it over the hump. A couple crucial calls down the stretch too that made a difference.
I know it's not easy to talk about the positives tonight, but Lexus Williams, he hit a career high with 24 points, and you've got to have him for, 9 months now?
Yeah.
How special was his joining the team this year?
Well, all three of those seniors, I wanted so bad for them that they deserved it. They've done some great things, and I told them in the locker room, it doesn't change how I feel about this team. I mean, they're all heartbroken. We're all heartbroken, and we wanted to keep this thing rolling, and so that's the hardest part of only having those guys for the 8 months that you get them, because they're just awesome, and you want them to go out, with a big bang.
Coach, I know that the threes are what kind of scares you about Utah State, and you mentioned scoring in bunches. What was it? What would you feel? You played a lot of zone against them. How do you feel defensively you did against them?
Well, obviously not good enough with the way they make. But part of it is them too. I mean, they're hard to guard. They put a lot of guards out there and spread you out really well, and then you got to make them. And they calmly and coolly made some tough ones, and. Then when we contested a couple of them, then you foul. So, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You want to contest them. You want to be aggressive, but you can't be fouling the three-point shooters either. And there was a couple of those that were tough, but we just we gave them some pretty good looks, and Merrill's going to make those.
What is it about this round that is just giving you guys trouble?
Well, it's. When you get to the conference tournament, everybody's playing good, and you got to play really good. We played. I think we played really good in stretches, and just down the stretch, we didn't make enough winning plays to get it done.
What will be next for this team? Is it an NIT bid?
I
or?
don't. I have no idea right now.
All right.
Coach, the bigger picture is your success or lack thereof in this tournament, and without you having a chance to decompress what happened tonight, do you have any idea why you've had so much struggles in this tournament over the years of getting to the championship game, of getting past the quarterfinals or the semifinals?
Might be we overachieved during the season. I mean, maybe those, you watch those two teams, they're pretty darn close. And these guys played for 3 months and finished second. So, I mean, I don't think we roll in and out-talent everybody, and, people just assume that, oh, they're going to get to the championship and win it. If you look player for player, there's a lot of talent in this league, and, so maybe it's a fact that we overachieved in the regular season. I don't know. But that team we played was really good, and their guards are really, really good, and they can make shots, and I knew that, So proud of what our guys do during the season to compete for a championship and get second, But yeah, it's disappointing though, but you got to play. You got to play a great game, and you got to play great down the stretch, and that's the difference. A couple shots, and then you're feeling completely different.
Just to get back to Hutch, Leon. I'm assuming he's got maybe one more, at least another game in a Bronco uniform, depending on what happens with the postseason. But how much has he kind of meant to this team, I guess, over these?
He's just he's been awesome this year, and he's carried us through a lot of amazing performances that got it done for us a lot of nights. And like I said, he just had a few some of those bad luck rattle in, rattle outs that, and then it's tough for a guy to get 2 fouls and then sit the whole half. But we were, in pretty, kind of had him at arm's length, and so you don't want him to pick up his third, and then you're without him the most of the second half too. So you just felt like he would get it going in the second half, but that's hard to sit there for that long and then have to turn it back on.
Anything else? One more question.
Coach, going back 30 years, and you've only been here for a short time of that, but do you get the feeling that there's a ceiling over this program that you can't bust through? You've had growth since you've been here, but I'm guessing you think it's frustrating, slow growth, and just looking at.
I don't know. I don't see that. I don't get that. We've been the most consistent team in the league the last 4 years. We finished in the top 3 the last 4 years. Nobody else has done that. And you're talking about basketball programs like San Diego State, like UNLV, like New Mexico. So I don't understand where the slow growth is talking about. We went from the WAC to contending. We won the Mountain West. We contended for a title 3 out of the last 4 years, or four years. And so I don't get I think it's ignorant to say slow growth. I mean, you're talking about a UNLV team our UNLV program has won a national championship. A national championship. You're talking about a San Diego State team that's 18 straight years of being terrific, talented, toughest places to play in this league. Slow growth is, we're selling out Taco Bell Arena. We're 15-1 at home. On and on and on. We're putting a guy in the draft this year. So slow growth is maybe the most ridiculous term I've heard from anybody about the basketball program and where we are. And you don't measure a program by a 3-day tournament. You measure it by how it does in the league every year, because that's over the course of 3 months. And that's night in, night out for 3 months. Not, one game. Anything can happen in college basketball unless, you're by far the most talented team. And that's not who we've been. We're not by far the most talented team. We got a bunch of tough kids that compete every night, that battle, and they hang. They're in every single game. You just didn't win the last 4 minutes tonight. So that's, that statement makes no sense.
Okay, thank you for your time, Coach.